guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, what's up? My name is vianney.strick. Thank you so much for being here. So today I decided to do a full face of Kokie Cosmetics. I have done this video before. I did it one time, I believe like 1.5 years ago. So there are some products that are still the same as that video, but they have come out with so many different launches and products that I really love. So I wanted to kind of do like a 2020 version of that video. Kokie Cosmetics is a very affordable brand, which you can find online, also at Walmart in store. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join my squad. Let's get into it. I scraped my nails off and they're not looking the best because I did have acrylics. So obviously like the nails under just do not look good. I just feel weird, like my nails just feel so little. And then also I've been getting questions about this hair. This is like my natural hair, all this, and then just to make it look a little bit nicer, I do take a waver, like those clamp wavers that you see everywhere, and I just do it over here on the top to give myself volume. And that is how I can take like my regular wave and just make it look a little bit nicer, to look like I put a little bit more effort. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I do have an affiliate code with Kokie Cosmetics. If you're interested, it is VS for 25% off their website. So if you're interested, definitely get used to that code because it's a pretty good percentage. Again, it is affiliate, but I feel like it's a win-win. So if you want to use it, go right ahead. So let's get started with the makeup. First, I am gonna take these two products. So these are the Get Ready Makeup Priming Spray, and then we have the Blurring Primer. I'm gonna use both of these products to prime. This is just a nice little primer water. I really do like primer waters. I know a lot of people said they don't do much, but I like the way it gives my skin that hydration. This one makes it a little bit tacky, but this is a product that I really like. Like if you were gonna get one of them, I really like the Blurring Primer. It's interesting, it comes out very liquidy and you rub it in, but once you do rub it in and it starts drying, it becomes tacky, and that's like my favorite kind of primers. It does say that it is a blurring primer, but I will say it's not like a big like pore minimizer primer. Like it does make your skin look nice, but it's not like a pore filling primer or anything like that. For me, it's mainly like it's tacky, and it gives your skin just like a nice little plump of hydration, and it just feels really nice under the skin. So I definitely, I do like both of these products, but if you were to pick one, I do like the Blurring Primer if you want more of a hydrated feel. So for foundation, I do have both of their foundations. The newest one is actually the Kokie Full Coverage, this one in Rose Gold, and then they did have the Skin Perfect in HD. Now, I brought them both out because I wanted to show you guys that I do have both, and as you guys can see, this shade is just completely off. It's very red. It's actually what I got in PR. It's shade 70W, and this one is in shade 60W, a little bit lighter. This is the newer foundation, but I got it out because I wanted to tell you guys that I actually prefer the older foundation. So I prefer the HD foundation more than the full coverage one. This to me is just a little bit cakey. It looks a little bit heavy on the skin. They both come in really nice packages. They're both glass, which is really nice. So the reason why I'm not using the new one is just because I prefer this one better. Even if I had a good shade in this, I still think that this is a pretty good foundation. I remember liking this foundation, but it's just been such a long time that's why I thought this video would be interesting. Not only because we're talking about some new products, but I also feel like, you know, sometimes our opinions change about how we feel about a foundation because our, you know, likes change and the way our skin is changes. So I figured, why not give you guys like a little update on how I feel on their older makeup as well as their new makeup. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like. Obviously it's not the right tone. It's definitely way too neutral for me. I'm more of a yellow undertone, but hopefully with concealer and bronzer we can make it work. A really big downfall of these foundations from Kokie is their shade range. It's just not very good, and it doesn't have good undertones. So if you can find your shade, that's awesome, but it is kind of hard, as you guys can see, to find your shade. Just talking about the finish, it's more of like a satin finish. It is medium coverage, as you guys can see, and it's a nice foundation, and it's HD, so it's good for photography and things like that. I just wanted to really just tell you guys that if you were wondering which one I prefer, I do prefer the HD foundation. So for concealer, I'll be using the Be Bright Illuminating Concealer in the shade Medium Beige. Something I do remember is really liking this concealer. I don't want to speak too much before I blend it out, but from what I remember, it's a hydrating concealer, looks very nice under the eyes. The only thing I remember not liking about it is just that it's not full coverage. I think it's more of a medium coverage, but obviously that's just preference. Doesn't mean it's not a good concealer, but I do remember it just looking really beautiful under my eyes. Oh my god, I look crazy. I feel like any makeup that I put over this is just not gonna look good because this foundation is completely the wrong shade, and I'm very sorry, and I would totally go to Walmart and buy another one, but I'm really trying to stay home because of everything that's been going on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off my whole face, put on foundation that fits me, and then we'll move back on the concealer and just forget this ever happened, and I hope that you guys can forgive me. Yeah? Okay, I officially look alive again. If you guys are wondering, I just put on the Maybelline Urban Dream Cover in the shade Soft Tan, which, as you guys can see, might be a little bit dark for me, but it just matches my undertone way more. So like I was saying, this concealer is actually a very, very light formula. It's nice and creamy, a little liquidy, and it is a medium coverage. It is more of a hydrating formula. It looks really nice under the eyes. If you prefer more of a medium coverage, you're really gonna like this. I'm sure this would work for all skin types. This would actually be a really, really nice, like, everyday concealer. This applicator is tiny. So you do have to go in a lot of times. And also, if you are my skin tone, I would prefer something a little bit darker. I was a lot lighter when I filmed the last video. I will be using the Kokie translucent powder. This is just translucent. I do believe they have a banana shade. It is just, man, what was I thinking? I just dropped the whole thing. Oh my god, I have to show you guys a picture. Things are just not going my way. I was gonna say that something that I don't like about this powder is that it only comes from 0.18 ounces. As you guys can see, it's a very, very small. But other than that, it's a pretty good powder. Let me put it on my face just to remind myself. So I am gonna set my under eyes, the rest of my face, and pretend that this isn't happening right now, and just move on and deal with it later. This is a nice powder. It's it doesn't claim to be HD, but it almost gives me the feel of an HD powder. Like, it's a very, very thin and light powder. I don't know how this would work if you had oily skin, but if you have normal to dry skin, I think that this is actually really pretty, especially for the face, because it's such a light powder that it sets your foundation without it even looking like you have powder. So that's something really nice. Again, the only thing I don't like is how little product comes, but other than that, I do enjoy it. I don't reach for it very often because I do have others that definitely do like more blurring. But, you know, when it comes to setting your face without looking powdery, this is definitely a good one from the drugstore. So for brows, I'll be using the Brow Pomade Gel in the shade Medium Brunette. This is actually such a good product. I really enjoy it. It reminds me so much of like Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow, as well as the Ka-Brow from Benefit. I definitely feel like this is probably one of the best pomades at the drugstore. It's not super, super creamy and emollient, which I think that's a good thing because it's actually a lot easier to work with because it does have a little bit of a drier formula, but I really think that that helps you sculpt your brows a lot easier. So if you've been needing a drugstore pomade, I would definitely go straight for this one because it's really good. All right, so let's move to the eyes. This is actually a new product that I love. I did use this in one other video, but I really feel like it needed to be in a full face of Kokie Cosmetics because this is gorgeous. So this is called the Artist Palette, and it's in the version in Goddess. They do have a lot of different shades, but as you guys can see, this one is just like a very beautiful warm tones, naked heat vibes. So not only is this such cute packaging, like you would never think that this is from the drugstore, but it does have, as you guys saw, a beautiful mirror. And then these shades are actually really nice. It does have matte and shimmers and some satins. I just feel like if you like warm tones, which I feel like a lot of us do, this would be a really good day to night palette, everyday palette, like whatever you want. I'll do a little bit of a dramatic eye. I'm gonna speed it up and put some music on so it's nice, relaxing, and to the point, and then we can talk about the eyeshadow palette a little bit more. Okay, so this is what the eye looks like. As you guys can see, this palette is literally amazing. It's such good quality. It's, like I said, such great packaging, and I think just for like a warm tone lover, this is definitely a dream. I want to talk about their eyeliners because this is definitely something that I didn't talk about in my last video. So they do have a lot of shades. Like obviously this is just like the brown and the black, but they do have a lot of fun colors. So these are just called the retractable KOHL eyeliners, and they have the exact same packaging as their lip liners. But I just wanted to show you guys, like, these are really freaking nice. They have such great pigmentation. They last a long time. These are probably some of like the best liners at the drugstore. So these are definitely other favorites. Like when we're talking about eyes, there's a lot of favorites for me from Kokie Cosmetics. Here's a little close-up so you guys can see how nice and opaque they are. They're very, very creamy. And by the way, guys, look, I just want to show you, like, it takes a while to rub off. So these do last a long time. These are so creamy to where they do go on easily, but they're not so creamy and emollient to where they kind of go everywhere. Definitely check them out. Like I said, they do have like plums, they have silver, they have green, they have a lot of different shades, and they're just really nice, and they're retractable so you don't ever have to sharpen them. I'm gonna go in the waterline. As you guys can see, I don't even have to like hold my eye down, like it just goes straight on. I'm only gonna line halfway. I'm just not a big fan of lining it all the way. I just feel like it's a little bit dramatic. But see how easily it glides on and it doesn't like burn or anything like that. So next we're gonna move on to mascara. This is actually not a new mascara, but it's actually really, really nice. This is my second bottle and I really enjoy it. So this is the Volume and Length Mascara. They do have a couple mascaras. This is actually the only one I've tried and I really, really enjoy it. I don't know yet if I'm going to do falsies because sometimes I can definitely get a falsie effect with mascara. So I'm going to apply a couple coats and then we can decide. This does give you the volume and length. It's like a really good like 2-in-1 mascara, and the brush is like big enough to cover your top lashes but small enough to also be pretty good for your lower ones. I think I'm actually going to skip out on falsies because see how nice this mascara looks. It has a thicker formula and the brush is not rubber. I always forget, what is it, guys? Not fiber, but it's like a harder material, so it does have little grooves in it to like separate the lashes while volumizing. It's a really good mascara and it's very inexpensive, and if you're looking for one that does both volume and length, like the name of it. I definitely recommend it. It's really, really nice. I do want to move on to bronzer. This is definitely one of their newer products. It is called their matte bronzer. I will say, again, not the biggest fan of the shade range because this is the only one that actually suited my skin tone, and it is a little bit too orangey red for my liking. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's a little bit on the reddish undertone, and I prefer more of, I'll show you guys. Yeah, this is more yellow orange, and this is just more like peachy. I prefer something like this. But anyways, it does have a really big pan and a mirror, as you guys can see, and they are all completely matte. I will say the first time I tried this, I had a bad experience with it because I think that I didn't set the foundation under. So if you're not used to setting your foundations with this bronzer, I definitely think you should, because it is a little bit more on like the powdery side, but once you apply it to the face, like, it looks fine. But it does have a little bit of kickback, and so if you are applying it to like tacky foundation, it is gonna start skipping. But if you are just looking for like downright just a matte bronzer with a lot of product and a nice little compact, it's pretty nice. It's not that like I don't like it, it's just I don't personally love the undertone. Like, I definitely think this could also be a blush for me. So that's why I don't really reach for it as much as I would other bronzers. But like I said, this is just literally matte. It is buildable. I actually think that because of the size of this and the formula, I think that this would actually be like a good body bronzer. So why don't we do that right now so that my face matches my neck a little bit more. So for blush, we will be using their little blush palettes. This is in the shade Blushing, and I definitely feel like the camera is making it look a little bit lighter than it actually is. I feel like this is a better representation. This is nice. This one is completely matte, and then these two have just a little bit of shimmer on it, not chunky or anything like that. I'm actually gonna mix both of these, and I like it. It actually reminds me of the ABH ones, like when it comes with threes. I think it's a nice palette to have, especially for like traveling, or if you just don't want to spend a lot of money on like different tones of blushes. They have different colors for these palettes, and obviously all these tones go together, but one's more peachy, one's lighter, one's more rosy. So I do like these palettes, and as you guys can see, it is going on a little bit darker on my face, so it's not super, super light like these. But yeah, it looks really nice, and I really like it, and I definitely think it's a nice, you know, it's a nice option at the drugstore. And the package is really sleek, and I really like Kokie cosmetic packaging. Okay, so moving on to highlighters, I do have these highlighters as well as their newer highlighter palette. I'm quickly gonna go through these. So these are called the Soft Glow highlighters, and I have the shade Heavenly, which is more of a rose gold, and of course I also have Gleaming, which is more of like a pinky rose gold. I guess you would say this is more champagne and this is more pinky. These are interesting because they are a cream, but they're not super creamy. Like, I don't know, it has a really interesting formula. It almost feels like a buttery powder, but it's definitely a cream, and it looks really beautiful. To get some on my brush, you really do have to like grab it as if it was a cream. And then see how this literally just looks wet? I actually really enjoy this. It's definitely something that I haven't found at the drugstore. Like, it's almost like, I don't know, it's really weird. Like, you can literally push in the product. See how my fingerprints are showing? Yeah, so this is more of a wet highlight. If you're into that, you can definitely like make it super extreme, or you can go in with a sponge and kind of blend it out like a cream highlight, and it looks a little bit more softer. Now, if this isn't dramatic enough for you, definitely get this, the Strobing palette. This to me looks just like a dupe for the Huda Beauty highlighter palette. This is a cream gold highlighter, and then these are powders, but they're super, super creamy, almost as creamy as these. Like, these powders, they feel like a very buttery shimmer shade. Like, look at this. This is what they look like. Again, the top is a cream and then the other ones are powders. This you can definitely get really intense, obviously, but if you just want the most blinding highlight ever and you really appreciate the different shades, definitely get this. This is like insane. I'm gonna just mix the gold and the bronzy shade. This is like very intense and you really have to go in with a light hand. So this is a light hand. It's really pretty. I personally am not a fan of like just regular like cream highlighters, and especially this shade is just not, you know, it's like a little bit too gold for me. But the highlighter palette's really pretty. The reason why you guys don't see me use it a lot in videos, it's because, as some of you guys know, I do prefer a more toned down highlight these days, but I know that that's just preference. So if you really want just like a super blinding, creamy palette from the drugstore, this is a really, really good choice. I'm gonna put some on my nose as well as my inner corners. And we do have a couple products left, but the last newer product that I haven't talked about, well, that I didn't talk about in the last video, are their lip liners. So just like their eyeliners, these are just as good. I don't know, it might be the same formula, but they have this completely same packaging. So these are just called their retractable lip liners, and they do come in very beautiful shades. I think today, should I go with this? Let's just go all out with a dark lip. Let's just do it. So I'm actually gonna use the shade Wine. So I'm gonna use a shade that is almost the same, and you guys are gonna see how nice this is. Like, it's very pigmented and creamy again, but not too creamy to where it goes everywhere. So I'm gonna overline my lips real quick. Super, super easy. I'm not gonna fill it in all the way just because I am just gonna do that with the liquid lipstick. But guys, don't sleep on these lip liners and eyeliners. They are so, so good. They last a really good time. They have a lot of beautiful shades and they're affordable and retractable. And then I actually forgot how I feel about these. These are the Lip Powder Liquid Matte Powder. This one's in the shade MIDTOWN. I honestly have no idea how I feel about this, so let's just put it on. Okay, so the formula went on very nice. I really like the applicator. It's like an elongated doe foot, and I appreciate that. Set my face, wait a minute, and I'll tell you guys how I feel about this once it dries. So to set the face, I'm just going to be using the Set It and Forget It long-lasting makeup spray. It's good, it's a makeup spray. It doesn't make your face luminous or matte. It just really locks everything in place and makes your powders melt with each other. Of course, I wore this top that literally doesn't even go with this lip or this eye, but guys, we are in quarantine. I'm not acting right. I've been waiting a little bit and this is actually taking a while to dry down, but I actually like that because I'm not into super, super matte drying liquid lipsticks anymore. I don't really wear them very often. And this is giving me the vibe of like a matte liquid lipstick, but it still has a little bit of tackiness, but it's nice because your lips don't feel super dry. So I really like that. So this is the entire look, and I kind of want to just give you guys a roundup of my must-have products for you guys. A lot of these are awesome, but like personally, my favorite is definitely, or like things that I use more personally, are the eyebrow pomade, the mascara, the eyeshadow palette, and all the liners. Those are definitely my favorite products from them, and you guys should definitely just check them out. My code for 25% off, again, it's VS. You can use it on their website. You can't use it at Walmart in store, but you might as well order online because you shouldn't be getting out of your house anyways and staying safe. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know what you guys want to see next. I love you. I hope that you guys are being safe, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.